And so these are things I want us to explore today. Is it okay to wait in your relationships? Is it okay for you to have a pause button? Is it okay for you to stop and think and process? You may be wondering, Carina, where are you going with all of this? Yes, where am I going with all of this? That was me, if you didn't notice, trying to pause and wait. I'm sure you probably thought to yourself, is she okay? Is she going to say something next? But yes, this is an experiment. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's amazing to have you back. Thank you to all my subscribers. I have grown exponentially in the last couple of weeks and I owe all of that to you. And I also see that so many of you tune in every week to see and watch my videos. So for that, I am super grateful. If you're new to my channel and you're just watching my videos for the first time and you like what you see, I really encourage you to turn on your bell notification, subscribe to my channel so that you will get to see all the new videos that I share every week. And for my old subscribers or my seasoned subscribers, if I may say, I am very glad that you're here today and you're tuned in. So peeps, today I am not going to take much of your time and I'm going to dive in. Before I go into the topic though, and it's still around the topic, is that I just want to put it out there that our generation, millennials, myself included, and Generation Z, we really struggle in this particular area. The other generations may have handled this much better than us, but also we have the tools today that those generations did not have, and also the struggles that come with it. One of them is technology. It's fast-paced, it's constantly changing, it's evolving by the minute, and because of that we become similar to the things around us as well. And that's what this topic is going to explore. Rather than chase after technology and chase after all these things that are constantly trying to take our attention, how can we take a few steps back to look at ourselves and look at our priorities and look at where we want to go in the future? In a world where we're constantly told that waiting is a very difficult thing, that we don't need to, actually, it's not that it's a difficult thing, that we do not need to wait. Our phones are changed every year, irrespective of the fact that we buy them almost $1,200 or pounds, and we expected to change them. And not to talk about laptops, not to talk about fashion that is very fast-paced. When we look at the world around us, it's constantly saying to us, keep going, keep moving, do not wait, do not stop. And most times we take that into our relationships as well. And we look at relationships where we see people who, and I'm not actually condemning anybody, I'm just saying that sometimes we look at relationships and we feel that it has to happen the same way as everything else around us. So within a week, we're expecting, is he gonna propose? I know I might be exaggerating, but in some cases, that's what it is. Sometimes we get into a relationship and within a month, we are asking ourselves questions like, when is he going to propose? Is he going to be my husband? Are we going to walk down the aisle together? It's just a month. I know sometimes also, some people meet within a couple of weeks, they're engaged and married. Those are some people. Majority of us, we have to wait in our relationships, and sometimes it's quite a struggle. And so these are things I want us to explore today. Is it okay to wait in your relationships? Is it okay for you to have a pause button? Is it okay for you to stop and think and process? You may be wondering, Carina, where are you going with all of this? Yes, where am I going with all of this? That was me, if you didn't notice, trying to pause and wait. I'm sure you probably thought to yourself, is she okay? Is she going to say something next? But yes, this is an experiment. So I want to talk to you about a very important topic, and the topic is on instant gratification, and the opposite of that is delayed gratification or deferred gratification. Instant gratification versus delayed gratification or deferred gratification. And now I'll go back to the concept of technology. Instant gratification, for example, when we open our laptops and we want to go to a site and the site is taking so long. And what's our definition of so long? 2 seconds. 2 seconds. I can be guilty of this. Sometimes I go to a site and I'm trying to load that site and I say to myself, why is it taking so long? And then I look at my phone and it's just maybe a minute or 2. And so that question is asked. Why are we so in a hurry? Why do we want to get everything done now? So today we want to explore this concept of instant gratification and why is it a problem? And if it is a problem, what is the alternative? I know some of you might be saying, but Carina, come on, we live in a society that is very fast paced. You can't knock us. It's not our fault. It's the society's fault. We are the product of our society. I totally agree. I do agree that the society has some elements and society does play a role in our lives. However, we can also define our lives by our rules. And we can also look at our lives and say, okay, this doesn't quite work for me. How can I do things counterculturally? We don't always have to follow the norm. We don't always have to follow how society has defined things. We can also follow our morals and principles as people and trust that we're going the right way. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So amazing to have you here. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button below and do turn on your bell notification so you're notified of all the exciting videos that I make every week. Welcome back. I'm really excited about this topic and I think it's one that we need to talk about. So please comment below. Let me know your views. Let me know what you think. Of course, this is a discussion. I want you to share your views as well as I share mine. And so I want to know your stance on this. We're talking about gratification and delayed gratification, instant gratification. These are all the topics we're looking at today. And I said gratification for me is actually the pleasure I feel when I have worked for something or wanted something and then finally got it. So is that your definition? I'll use that definition and then we'll explore more on this topic. And so instant gratification, which is what our society preaches today and is constantly in our faces. You look at the TV, there's get it now, buy it now, or you're going to lose it. There's someone else. Guys, how many of you have seen this? Sometimes when I look at a website and say I'm trying to book a holiday and I'm going away, and I noticed that they say, oh, you're the second person that has booked this place today. And if I want to buy an item, there's only 2 of it left and you may lose out or something along those lines if you don't buy it now. So there's constant, the consumerism in our society has enforced that instant gratification, that it's a good thing. It's right for us to be constantly going for what we want. I want to talk to you today about the Marshmallow Experiment. Some of you may know the Marshmallow Experiment. It was an experiment done by a researcher in the 70s and basically involved a couple of children. So this researcher wanted to see the difference between the kids that wanted to have a marshmallow right now and the kids that waited to have maybe 2 marshmallows, for example. So he started off with a group of kids between 4 and below and put them in a room for about 15 minutes. Obviously, kids don't really know the concept of time, so 15 minutes for them feels like a very long time. And so he put them individually, or some of them they were paired up with 2 or 3 others in a room and given 1 marshmallow each. And as the kids were given the marshmallow, they had an instruction. And the instruction was, if you wait until I return, and when it's for a child, return could be any time. So if you wait until I return, you will get 2 marshmallows. So right now I'm giving you 1 marshmallow. It's here right in front of you. You can eat it. However, if you wait and not eat it until I return, I will give you 2 marshmallows. And then the instructor left the room, and you just see the kids trying to reflect and ponder whether they should eat the marshmallow. Some of them dance around the marshmallow, some of them sniffed it, some of them tried to smell and sniff it, and somehow maybe the taste will go into their nose and they will feel like they've eaten it. Some of them could not wait and they ate the marshmallow. Others stood by the door pondering when the instructor is going to come back and give them the 2 marshmallows. But there were some kids that stayed and waited for the instructor to come back and give them 2 marshmallows. And when the instructor came back, they were given 2 marshmallows, the ones that did not bite their marshmallows, the ones that did not eat all of it. And so the theory was not really at that time of seeing the kids that waited. The research followed these kids even 40 years after, and the result was profound. The result was that the kids that waited, the kids that practiced delayed gratification over instant gratification, they did better in society, they did better at school, they were more successful in life, and they achieved quite a lot in life. In relationship, in their careers, in the different things that they chose to do. Of course, I'm not going to sit here and say to you that a 4-year-old that made a decision not to eat a marshmallow, that was what made them become successful. No, but the premise is that the ones that waited, they were able to practice that discipline across different things that they did in life. It's a discipline. So instant gratification talks to you about wanting to get it right now. I need it, I want it, I have to have it. Whereas delayed gratification says to you, hold off, don't just go yet, why don't you wait? So the concept of delayed gratification, what are the traits that you learn from doing that? You learn quite a number of traits, but the 2 main ones that I want to touch on is discipline. The ability to say to yourself, I'm not going to take this now, I'm going to go for later. It's a discipline. It's self-control. It's restraining yourself from getting something now for a later gain. I'll use exercise, for example. A lot of us love to exercise, but most times when you start to exercise, you realize that there are areas of your body that you're not quite able to do or probably hold and learn how to do certain things when you're actually exercising. One that I struggle with is burpees. I really struggle with burpees, and I remember when I first started, I couldn't even do much. I probably could do just a handful, and that was it. And at that time, I used to say to myself, I probably wouldn't be good at this. But as I carried on going, I realized that my body could do more. And as I did that more and more, I got better and I was able to even do harder exercises. You can also look at things that maybe you're not very good at, and you could say to yourself, actually, I could start doing this and see how I progress. But the self-discipline of pushing yourself and telling yourself, no, I'm not going to stop, I'm going to keep going, you see the progress that you make time and time again. Incremental steps that we take daily and consistently in the long run actually supersedes massive steps or achieving perfection. So I'll use an example. I'm a content creator. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's very easy to try and aim to make contents every week. It takes a lot of time, research, motivation. There are days when I don't feel like making any content and I just want to be by myself and not do anything. But I push myself past that stage or step of saying to myself, I don't want to do it. And I look at the bigger goal. The bigger goal and the bigger reason for doing it is I want to communicate with you. I'm accountable to you, my audience. I actually am, because I know you're looking forward to my new post, my new video. So of course, I'm going to show up. It's irrespective whether it's perfect. It's the fact that I showed up, and as I consistently keep showing up, I will keep bettering myself. And it's that whole concept of delayed gratification, saying to yourself, I'm not going to get it now, I'm going to get it later. My reward is later. And by practicing that, you see that there are certain traits in you which start to drop off. Traits that you perhaps don't like about yourself. The things that you want to change will automatically start to drop off from you. Why? Because you're looking now at a bigger goal. You're looking now at a time in the future, and you're looking at something much bigger than yourself. I'm going to share something about a relationship. I'll just talk about relationship broadly. In relationship, if you respect your body and yourself, both men and women, you end up having relationships that cherish you. You end up having relationships that are respectful of you. Why is that? Because you respect yourself. Because you have your boundaries and you have your rules, and you say, well, this bit about me is not going to be crossed. This is who I am. This is how I show love. This is how I don't want to receive love. And because you make those rules about the type of life you want and the kind of person that you are, you will automatically attract people of similar traits. Why? Because there's something of value in you that those people will recognize. And don't get me wrong, there will also be the people who are not respectful of your space. But those people, you will be very quick to figure who they are out, because you already have your walls built around yourself. I say this to men, I say to women as well, that if we respect our body and we respect our space and we love ourselves, we will see that over time we will attract similar types of people. We will attract people who are loving, because like attracts like. You're always going to attract something similar to you. If you walk into a room and you smile, you automatically say to whoever is there, I am friendly. I want to talk to you. I want to know you. And automatically that person wants to smile back. The person wants to say to you, oh, how can I help you? If you go into a room and you're frowning and you're abrupt, chances are you are going to meet people who are abrupt too, and people who are also not in a good mood. And then most times you walk out and you think, oh, that person wasn't very nice. But you could also ask yourself, was I also nice to them? Like attracts like. Right, now that we've talked about this, I want us to go into the steps, things we can do to enhance delayed gratification, to help us become people who delay our gratification. I learned and I continue to learn delayed gratification. I do it in so many ways. Now I push myself even more in areas that I could never have even contemplated doing 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years ago. But because I constantly practiced in different areas of my life, now I see that, okay, maybe I can push myself a little bit more here. And maybe I could do a little bit more there. And before you know it, you have that capacity to take on whatever comes to you, but still able to filter through the things that you don't want. And you can put them at bay and say, no, this is not coming into my space. And I'm talking to women right now. This is not coming into my space. A person who behaves like this is not the kind of person I want to be dating. A person who behaves like this is not the kind of person I want to be married to. A person who is of this personality needs to work on his personality if he wants to attract someone like me. And you will see, yes, you will have those people that will say to you, who do you think you are? Why do you think you're on your high horse? I hear that all the time, but it doesn't matter. I tell people, I say, so what if they think you're on your high horse? So long as you're not being abusive and rude and disrespectful and arrogant, and all you're doing is setting boundaries. And I hope those boundaries you're setting, you're not setting it for others to live by, but yourself. First, charity begins at home. So you start with yourself first and build yourself. And that's why we're looking at delayed gratification today as one of the disciplines that we need to build into our lives to be able to expand. And when people come into our lives, we already know our boundaries. I'm going to share with you 4 ways that you can grow in delayed gratification today, starting right now. The very first one is pick an area. Pick an area in your life. Don't try to do everything, because it's not going to work. I'll be very honest. We have to be sincere to ourselves and be practical about what we can do and what we can't do. You can't do everything at once, but you can do one thing. So you can pick one area of your life and you say to yourself, this one area I want to grow in delayed gratification, and I'm going to challenge you in the area. One of the areas that I think you can start growing today in delayed gratification is in the area of your money. Your money is vital. Where you spend it, who you spend it with, how you spend it says a lot about you. Do you think the banks are stupid that before they give you a mortgage, they ask to see your bank statements? They want to see how you spend your money. Are you prudent? Are you wise with your money? Because if you are, then you'll be wise with quite a number of things in your life. So let's start with your money. It's a big challenge, I know, but start with your money today and say, I'm gonna start with my money today, and how can I make it happen? How can I delay my gratification in the area of my money? And one way that I want to share with you is perhaps looking at how you spend your money. Where do you spend it? Are you an instant gratification person? Are you an instant gratifier? Do you like to spend your money instantly? Do you see things and then buy immediately as an impulse buyer? Or do you wait? I have a video on this which talks about how to spend your money, how to be wise with your money. I'm going to link it to this video, and hopefully it might pop up on the screen as well, and you can watch that video. And it talks about how to manage your money, how to learn to not buy things on impulse, giving yourself time and waiting. I remember when I started practicing this, not buying things immediately when I saw them, but saying to myself, okay, I'll give it a few days and see if I still miss it. A lot of times I never miss those things. Sometimes I do, and I start challenging myself, give it a few days, give it a week, 2 weeks, a month. Another thing I did was, whilst I recognized what I wanted to buy, I wrote it down and I saved towards it. So this was a good way to keep me accountable, because I saved towards what I was going to purchase. So are you that kind of person? Is that a great place for you to start? Perhaps you could stop being an impulse buyer and then give things time. And if you still do miss them, save towards it and then buy it at a later date. The second point I want to share with you today is start small. This is the reason I said to you, don't think that you're going to do this to every aspect of your life. No, it's impossible. Start small. So if you've identified that, okay, money is an area I want to practice delayed gratification, then why not start with saying to yourself, this week I'm going to make a list of the things that I need to buy. Need, I didn't say want. So the things that I need to buy, and your need is food, shelter, transportation. You know your needs. It could be more than that. I don't know. But look at those things and say to yourself, okay, these are my needs. Okay, this week I'm only going to buy my needs. No wants, just my needs. You could start with that and see how you get on. You may do fabulously that week and say, oh, great, okay. You may mess up that week. That's okay. Pick yourself up, continue. Another way that could also be a small step that you take, if you don't already know this, and I know everyone mentions this, but they mention it because it's vital. Have a budget. I can't stress this enough. I practice this myself. In the summer, so between May and September, I wasn't strict on my budget because me and my husband made a very big purchase, and at that time we were transitioning to a different phase and we had quite a lot of outgoings because of that purchase. And so I thought to myself, I'm not going to look at the budget. I will come back to it when things are a bit more settled. I was wrong. I ended up seeing that I wasted so much during that time that I didn't stick to the budget. And one of the ways we did was we would go food shopping, buy food, and then order takeaway. Who does that? And then sometimes the food would go up. I'm sorry, I have to be honest. I'm very honest in my channel. I share with you my journey and my struggle as well. Another issue I had as well was I didn't go to the supermarket with a list. So I thought in my head, I know what we roughly want, what we want to eat and how we're going to eat. But no, how wrong was I? So I went shopping, I bought my vegetables and my fruits and all what I thought we were going to use to cook for the week, and then get back home and my husband says, I don't feel like eating this. Even me, I don't feel like eating it, and then we order takeaway. When I look back, I saw how much money we were spending. It wasn't crazy, but it was way beyond what we budgeted for food every month, just because one, I didn't go to the supermarket with a list, and two, because I wasn't sticking to my budget. So I'm sharing with you my personal struggles as well. And the minute I went back on my budget, I was able to identify areas where I slacked, which was one, the list, creating a list for shopping and sticking to what we buy. So now I plan ahead for the week. What are we going to eat? And then I go shopping for those things and we stick to what we have bought. There's no waste anymore. I hate wasting food. It's something that I totally detest. But it's very easy for us to step out of track when we don't have these ways of trying to get ourselves back on track. So if you have things like a budget, I would suggest that the first small step you should take is creating for yourself a budget. And through your budget, you can then grow. You see how much you're spending, and you even notice in your budget that perhaps there are areas where you can cut out and save more and use your money wiser. The third point I want to share with you today, how you can delay gratification, is actually through consistency, doing it daily. I know this is not perhaps what you want to hear, but consistency, being able to look at your life and saying, I will do this every day for the next, 3 months, 6 months. And you have a board. I would encourage you, buy a board, keep it in your room and tick it off every day that you do it. Consistency, follow the rule, keep going every day. That's how you get better. There's a very famous comedian actually that shared this, and everyone used to wonder, how is it that he's so famous? How is it that he's so good at what he does? And a young comedian went to him and asked him the question and said, how do you do it? How are you able to constantly keep doing this in such an amazing way, in a way so profound that many of us cannot attain? And he sat back and he was listening, wanting to hear from this famous comedian. And his response, he said, consistency. Just keep doing it. It's not whether it's good, it's not whether it's amazing, it's that you're doing it every day. He said, how do you think a writer became great at writing? He or she had to write every day. Whether it's great, it doesn't matter. It's not about greatness. It's about just doing it every day. And so my challenge again to you is to do it daily. Come rain or shine, do it and you will see your progress. As you do it daily, try to add incremental improvements to it. So rather than do the same thing every day, ask yourself, how can I better this today? And it's not huge. For example, at the gym, how can you become more disciplined at the gym? Let's say, for example, you're learning how to squats, for example, and your practice is to try and attain 20 squats a day. That's your target, and that's where you started, perhaps 10. You could start 5, maybe. The next day you go in, do 6, 7, 8, top it up, do 12, do 15, do 20, do 25, do 35, do 45, do 65, and before you know it, you're doing 100 squats a day and you're not breaking a sweat. So it's about improving. So do it daily, but improve on it every day. No matter how small, just improve every day. And the very last point, the very last tip for me today to share with you, it's what I do with you every week. I'm accountable to you. Find an accountability partner. Find someone you can share your journey with, and someone who can hold you accountable. So there's no point going to somebody who perhaps doesn't have the same drive, or perhaps doesn't want to, because they won't really hold you accountable. So go to somebody you look up to, someone you trust, someone that can hold you accountable, and let that person support you We're humans. We will fall short. We will make mistakes. We will have days that are not so great. We're built for community. And so that's why it's so important that you have people that support you. I'm not asking you to find people in this instance. I'm saying find one person that you look up to and you trust and can support you. And then go and practice delayed gratification. And I'm so excited for you. You don't understand. Because I know how much it's changed my life in every aspect of my life. Practicing delayed gratification from a humble step, a humble beginning, it has expanded into so many areas of my life, and it's still growing, and I'm still practicing it every day. I'm learning to be more and more disciplined every day. I'm learning self-control every day. But it's much easier now because the journey and the foundation has been put in, and you're already walking it a while now, so it won't be as challenging as when you started. So I encourage you to start today. Practice these 4 steps that I have listed to you, and come back to me. Comment, let me know how you're doing. I encourage you. I'm rooting for you. I know you can do it. So on that very good note, thank you guys, and have a great week ahead. Bye guys.